The Russian President, Boris Yeltsin, said Princess Diana was well known and loved by the Russians.
I was tremendously impressed by her.
Let me say again how very sad Hillary and I are about the terrible accident that has taken the life of Princess Diana.
This is not a time for recriminations, but for sadness. However, I would say that I always believed the press would kill her in the end. But not even I could imagine that they would take such a direct hand in her death, as seems to be the case.
I was furious, I wasn't just angry.
I photographed the coffin leaving and then get a cab to get back to the hotel to process the film. And cab wouldn't take me. He said, no, you're an assassin. By this time, it had come out that paparazzi were chasing the car, and everybody then thought that was the reason she died.
I said, this is how it ends, you know? This terrible story of manipulation and gross unkindness sort of made terrible sense to me, that this is always how it was going to be. Something terrible would happen because of this absolute, endless hunger for more of a pound of flesh from Diana.
You that killed her. It's you, press, that killed her. You're the scum.
Yes. They're not harassing anybody here. They're just standing here. Horrible. They're just horrible. Good gracious.
Why were the paparazzi after them? If there was no money in the photographs, they wouldn't have been after her in the tunnel.
You know, what happened in France was unforgivable and horrendously sad.
They've taken her life. They've taken her life. I'm sorry. I blame the Sun newspaper and the ilk. They killed Diana.
Because she was chased in that tunnel by photographers, that we in the media, there was absolutely a sense of responsibility for her death. It was a moment of soul-searching, no doubt. It still is.
I'm standing in Hyde Park now with millions of people. Yes, we are slightly to blame because we buy the papers that you print, so... But it's tragedy, really.
Hi, thanks for coming out. Princess Di is dead, and who should we see about that? The driver of the car, the paparazzis, or the magazines and papers who purchase these pictures and make bounty hunters out of photographers?
When you have a shock, you want somebody to blame. And the newspapers were terrified. And so I believe there was a calculated push by the tabloid newspapers to redirect public anger away from them and towards the monarchy.
The main attitude was, it wasn't us, it wasn't our fault. The driver was drunk, and it's all down to him. They quickly realized attack is always better than defense in terms of how newspapers organize themselves. So they were the first to highlight that the Queen had been slow to react in a way that they thought was appropriate.
I think there was an element of the press deliberately diverting attention away from themselves, but the behavior of the royal family didn't help.
I think our Queen should be here in London with her people. This is her nation, and they should know how all her people feel about Diana.
And one day, 2 days, 3 days, days go by and there isn't a word from the royal family. It was astonishing.
I think they treated her terrible, absolutely shocking. I don't think they're the most cold people on this earth.
What the world wanted was for the Queen and the royal family to come rushing down to London. There was this strange feeling that the Queen could act as some sort of balm
a consoling mother, that if she were in London, everybody would feel better.
A great many people have waited this week with enormous anticipation for the royal family to become engaged. And then the Queen came back yesterday.
This family that was grieving and that was in shock itself was forced to perform in public in order to save itself.
This week at Balmoral, we have all been trying to help William and Harry come to terms with the devastating loss that they and the rest of us have suffered.
When you listen to it, you suddenly realize, yes, this woman is not just the Queen, she's the grandmother of those boys. They were worried about people shouting, people jeering, and in fact, quite the opposite proved to be the case. The child held out flowers. You know, that's one of those minutes when humanity comes true, because it was unrehearsed. And she genuinely thought, sorry, I'm getting moved about this, but the flowers were being given to her to lay, you know, to lay down for Diana. And she said, so shall I, you want me to lay the flowers for Diana? And the little girl memories of, no, they're for you. And, you know, I think that's the moment, as you can see from my reaction, that was the moment when it turned.